How impressive has LeBron been at the age of 40? You 40 and he's still playing.
No, listen, no, for real, dog. We are amongst the greatest, like, LeBron is the greatest athlete to ever live. Let's just start right there. Greatest athlete, track, volleyball, baseball, football, I don't care what sport, the greatest athlete that's ever lived. Let's start right there. To sum this all up, dog, he's 40 years old in year, what is it, 21?
22. 22.
This is year 22. He's averaging, what, 26 a night, 7 rebounds and 7 assists? That's better than me at my peak. And I was a 10-time All-Star, a top 75 player, a Hall of Fame player, and this is what he's doing at 40. It makes you think, like, I mean, you have to be good, but you have to be lucky also. And what I say by that, you have to withstand the injury bug, which seems to hit us all at some point in our careers, surgeries, which kind of slow you down, take away some of your athleticism. For him to be able to get through this without any major injuries and still playing at a high level, I was having this conversation with KG this morning, like, we're never going to see nothing close to this in our lifetime. Not even remotely close to an athlete or somebody doing this at this age, at this level.
Yeah. Just imagine, though, Paul, you were injury-free.
I was injury-free.
Your entire career. You might have had a finger here that made you miss half the season.
I never had a
surgery. Like but never had a surgery.
That's amazing.
No.
That's amazing.
Same for him, but he's still playing.
Right.
Way beyond. It's just, I don't get it, Rick. It's like, you know, I'm sitting there and watching the game, and I'm saying to myself, I don't understand what it is. Is he from another planet? Is he, some people out there may not remember the $6 million man. You do, Rick, and I'm sure you do, Paul.
Yeah.
Is he like the $6 million man where all of a sudden he's a robot, but he's really human?
Yeah.
And like, it's just the weirdest thing that I've ever seen in a professional athlete. And we can point to other professional athletes that had extended careers beyond. We can go to Tom Brady, and we can go to baseball players, and even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But it didn't look like this.
Right.
This is like turning back the clock to a whole nother level. And I just don't know how you slow it down or stop it. He would have to literally say, I don't want to play basketball anymore.
They're going to have to call LeBron a coach. His wife or kids going to be like, hey.
You got to stop.
That's it.
Yeah, because
that's what's going to happen.
The way it looked last night, he's going to be playing basketball for another 5 years.
Well, that's what's crazy is that normally when you have the athleticism that a guy like LeBron James was gifted with from the very beginning, generally you're living off of that supreme athleticism and you're not grinding away, maintaining it and doing all the stuff that you have to do to maintain that supreme athleticism and to do it for like 20-plus years.
22.
With all those accomplishments. That's sustaining that and still having the drive.
Because you get bored fast. You won.
And at some point, like, how much more am I going to get out of this, right?
I don't know what it is, man.
It's a combination of so many things, like his body type, his physical attributes, his mindset. You know, he has to have a high tolerance for pain.
Think about it, though, Paul.
Because he's played a lot through injuries.
But Paul, we've seen 6'7", 6'8", 260-pound basketball players play before. But not in 22 damn seasons. We've seen it. At some point, like you say, Rick, right? You get to a point in your career where you like, dude is a billionaire. Dude's got MVP trophies. He's got regular trophies. He's got Olympic gold medals. He's got whatever it is that you wanted to accomplish as a professional. You did everything. It's like, why, mentality-wise, you still out here doing it? Is it because I can?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, why?
We know one of the driving forces was he wanted to play with his son.
Okay, so he accomplished that.
Saw the possibilities.
So now the next son.
But now that he's done it, that's going to be the question. Like, what's
the next son?
Right? Now can I get my next son?
So that's the motivation.
Right?
Not only can I win it, now the remotivation is to win another championship as when you brought Luka in. Because before, when they were teetering on playing, it was just like, I had a feeling that this would have been LeBron's last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept saying it.
I said, I think this will be his last year. He's played with Bryce. He's done this. But now that they brought now that they brought Luka in, it's like that's rejuvenating them. And now you look at the Lakers and where they are. Let me tell you something. I saw LeBron. He came into Boston one year. And the second quarter, he went up something on the baseline. I saw him roll his ankle completely over. I was like, okay, that's it for him. He went to the locker room, came back, and didn't come back out the game. And I was just like, what?
That's what I'm saying. He's like the $6 million man,
Like,
Rick.
he's able to withstand pain and play through it because I know that type of mindset. I've done it. He's able to stay healthy for the most part. And what he's done, the most important thing he's done is I don't feel like what are his bad habits? Like, you don't hear about him at the hookah bar like we hear about Luka. We don't hear him out at the club having drinks with everybody like we hear about certain players. It's like, if he has bad habits, it's probably to a minimum. And it's like, whatever. Okay, he can have an occasional wine, whatever.
Sure.
But it's
But
like he's
also
done everything right.
But
for the
also
most
maybe
part.
those fun times is really geared toward the off season, where he's in the season and he's locked in to the
I
degree.
can see him.
How many off seasons has he had? Like
22 or
no,
20.
no, because he's played Olympics. Like,
yeah, that's
he's
true.
Always
Yeah,
been
yeah.
doing something.
Yeah, that's true.
He looks to me, and I think this is probably part of his success, is the fact that he's never really let himself get out of shape. He doesn't let go. He might not play basketball for a while, but he's always doing something in terms of conditioning his body or taking care of himself, and he's obviously invested a lot of money into
Crazy.
that. So
It doesn't even make any sense, though.
it's to me, it's more the drive to continue to do that more than anything.
Well, I
That's
guess
been
maybe
impressive.
that's part of that drive could be he wants to put things so far out of reach that nobody will ever be able to eclipse it or even come close to it.
Could be.
Maybe that's some of
It
it.
won't happen in my lifetime. Like, the numbers he's putting up, it won't happen. Breaking a lot of these numbers, like minutes and points totals. And
50,000.
But we've had it over the history of sports. You've had, a Tom Brady. You've had a Gordie Howe, who was still like playing into his 50s.
Hockey guy.
Tiger Woods won the Masters.
Yeah.
40-something, right? You've had these singular guys, but I don't know if in the modern era we're going to see that, because the competition is so much greater
And the money.
and the training is so much greater for everybody, that the fact that he's been able to maintain this level has truly been remarkable.
So, Rick, you've been a fanboy of the Lakers so far this year, especially over the last 3 weeks of major.
Say that again.
You've been a fanboy.
Say that for all the people out there.
Hey, Rick has been a fanboy over the last 3 weeks of the Los Angeles Lakers, but I want you to keep the same energy, okay, with LeBron James being in the MVP conversation. I want you to have that same energy.
This is why I immediately fall out. This is why I immediately fall out, because we do too much.
What are we doing?
Look,
I asked
the
you
way
a question.
LeBron's playing is incredible. The way the Lakers are playing is surprising. Has certainly surprised me. He's not in the MVP talk, okay? Let's not do that. Up until February 1st, there's a debate whether he was even the best player on the team. Anthony Davis was doing more. Now, you can make the argument, still not the best player on his team. But how are you going to be the MVP if you're not the best player? He's amazing at 40 years old. He's certainly one of the top two, and has been one of the top two players on his team, and has them gunning, number 2 in the West. All of that is amazing. But he's had an Anthony Davis next to him up until February 1st. He has a Luka Doncic next to him now. Let's just look at the other candidates. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Who's his number 2? Jalen Williams?
yeah, Jalen Williams.
First-time All-Star?
So you
Right?
get Doc for having a dude.
Luka, Nikola Jokic, who's his second. Jamal Murray. He can't even make the All-Star game. So this is not me bagging on LeBron. This is like we get excited and then we just put the bar too high, and then I feel it's my responsibility to bring some sanity to the conversation and say, no, we're doing a little too much.
How is it too much when the guy essentially is doing the same things at 40 years old he did in 2012 and 2013
He's not the same
when
guy.
he was in Miami?
He's not. The numbers may look the same. He's not the same. That's a disservice.
You keep saying
That's a
he's not the same
disservice to
guy,
who
but it
he
looked the
was.
same.
He dominated it. He could dominate at both ends of the floor. And the way he scored would make things better for everybody else. You see the way they're playing.
His numbers are up. Look at that. Look at that, though, Rick. I'm just saying. I understand what you're saying, because he also had.
He's so smart.
But he also had those other players around him in 2012 and 2013 too.
Sure.
So do you dock him because he was playing with AD? Now it's Luka.
No, I'm not going to base it on numbers. I'm just not going to base it on numbers.
What are you going to base it on?
I'm going to base it on the way that he played at both ends of the
He
floor.
can't
we
get
never
into the
take into account
conversation?
the defensive end of the floor.
You can't get into the conversation? He can't get into the conversation.
Well, I heard the Burks
Yes, we can get into the conversation. You know how this is how we can get him into the conversation. Is LeBron James an MVP candidate? No. Okay, end of conversation. But we got him in.
I hate to burst your bubble, Rick, but you said what he's not doing defensively, and we've named a guy who's been 3-time MVP, and he's
He
never
don't play
been-
no defense,
don't
a joker.
play no
Zero.
defense.
Zero.
And that's the joker, and we base that. And you're saying earlier, you was like, look at his numbers. That's what you said.
I said
look
his
at his
numbers
numbers.
compared
You said
to-
numbers.
Okay,
but now you're talking about
now we're going to bring our
LeBron's
conversation
numbers.
in the other room
No,
into this
but
room.
listen, I'm trying to put everything into perspective. Sometimes it is about numbers.
Yes, but I would say this too. If you look at the way the Denver Nuggets are playing, you look at the way the guys around Nikola are playing.
Right.
He's carrying more this year than he
Absolutely.
ever has.
Absolutely. So the question was, is he in the race? He's in the race. But is he going to win it? Probably not.
This is actually
mostly no chance at him winning it.
You know what? I'll be interested to see where he falls because I imagine LeBron will wind up.
Okay,
so there's
so let
five
me
slots
ask-
on the 5 slots on the MVP ballot.
Okay, so is Jason Tatum in the race? He's in the race.
He's in the race.
All right,
he's
then.
plus 3,000
He's in
right
the
now.
race. So the question is,
No, he's
is
not. You know what?
LeBron-
No, he's not in the race.
He's in the
because he
race.
can't win.
What do you mean?
Tatum's not going to win.
But he's in the
everybody
race.
He'll be on the
races-
ballot, but he
Everybody
won't
has,
win.
listen, when you line up them horses and you line up them NASCARs and Indy cars and stuff, there's like slots.
Yeah, but the 10th horse is in the race, technically.
Okay, so LeBron's
that's what
in the
he's
race.
saying. He's in the
technically.
race.
He's in the race. Now, if you take Shea and Joker out of the race,
Yes.
is he in the race?
Well, now it gets interesting.
Oh, it gets interesting.
But the reality is, we're not taking them out.
Yeah,
They're
but
not going
every year
anywhere.
there's
That
going to be
is
a
the
guy
reality.
that's we're going to talk
It's a-
about. Oh, it's always a 2-man race every year, right? It's always.
Okay.
It's usually a
And he's not
2-man
one of those 2 guys.
No, but he's in the race. Let's say Shea goes down these last 10 games and he misses the 65 count. Or Joker, he misses the 65 count for games. Then he's in the race.
I think, well, hasn't he already made it?
Huh? Who?
I think he's probably.
But
Probably-
Where are we game 1?
But you
I don't know.
You know what's
We
so
need like
crazy?
about 15 games left or something like
Rick,
that.
you're not keeping that same energy for LeBron like you
No,
was
but
for the
he's in
Lakers.
the- I
you know?
will give him that. He's
you
in
was
the
a
race.
Laker lover for about a minute. Now all of a sudden you done went
And
way left
No, I
on
haven't.
me.
The thing
No,
that
I
does
haven't.
the thing that does it for me is I had going into the season,
falsely
I said the
accused.
Lakers are going to be a play-in team. Then they made the trade for Luka Doncic, and I said, oh, okay,
Yeah.
the Lakers are this players for the future because I don't see them playing together. I don't see this working out. They're both too ball dominant. And since Luka's got there, he's elevated his play. So, like, he wasn't in the race, then he jumped into the race like he hit a full-on sprint. I mean,
Okay.
they way up
All right,
there.
all right. So
Like,
hold on
you
a
know.
second. So how long has it been? We're talking.
He's only been in the race
the
for like
month of
the
February.
last 2 weeks.
But are we?
Well, actually, he's been. If
2
you
weeks
really
he's been in
wanna,
the race.
He was playing. He's been playing well all season.
Yeah, but he jumped in the race 2 weeks ago.
because
Like, he's at the point to where now
This
he
is-
can be first-team All-NBA.
This is a-
because before that, this last 2 weeks, he was probably teetered on second, third-team All-NBA. So now
This
you
is
can
all
say
on 2 weeks.
in the last 2 weeks he made a
Come on,
push
Paul.
because
it's It's an award for the entire season.
Yeah, but I'm
But he
saying,
was-
is he
he
going to be
was
a
in the mix.
first-team All-NBA player? Does he warrant that now with this push? I would say so.
Now you got to have. I got to come up with my all NBA first.
Yeah,
team
if we
ballot.
take out the positions, you're going to say Donovan Mitchell because of what they're doing, Shea Gilgeous, the Joker, of course, and then probably Tatum and LeBron. That's right there. That's the first-team All-NBA this year.
I got to go. I'll give you that down the line.
You give it to us down the line.
Yeah, his vote count. So
Let's talk about the greatest.
He don't want to say nothing.
Let's
right
talk about the greatest shooter of all time, and Steph Curry and the Warriors are rolling. Golden State beat the Knicks in the Garden last night, and are 9-2 since they acquired Jimmy Butler for the Miami Heat. Shaq paid Steph a huge compliment last night. So he mentioned everybody except Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't understand that.
He did. I think he did later.
Later on,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Well,
He said he made
because
up for that.
every time we had these conversations,
Kareem
it's almost
Kareem should have never been out of it.
They've never had a conversation. It's always Michael, LeBron,
Yep.
and then Kobe, and then they'll add somebody else in there. But Paul, does Steph Curry belong in these conversations based on his accolades and the things that he's done thus far in the NBA?
Well, I think Steph is an enigma, and it's like, I mean, he's all of these anomaly. I don't know, because I think you have to wait until his
Who's coming up
career.
with the big words now?
Yeah, I mean, you have to wait for his career to be over, to really start assessing that. The reason we can start talking about LeBron is because how long he's been doing it and starting at a young age, and the expectations we put on LeBron, and that's why we can start these conversations while he's still playing. Whereas Steph, this is a situation to where he's still got some room to grow, because if he can win another chip, because the way he's playing, he looked like he got another 4 or 5 years left in him. And we all know anything can happen in the NBA, especially when we look at the Western Conference and say it's wide open. We don't know. I mean, do we trust OKC to come out the West? Can we see Denver or the Lakers? Can Golden State push all these other teams in the West? So I'm not ready to say, hey, we got to start having these conversations. It'll be unfair to Steph at this point. Is he the greatest shooter all time? I'm ready to say that before he's done. Of course, I can give him that. But he's done so much in this league that I don't want to start that with him quite right now, saying and having them in GOAT conversation, because it's going to get uncomfortable if we start saying these things, about him and Mike and Kobe and Duncan, Hakeem, and even you, Shaq. I think you, Shaq, you said these things, and you was a prisoner of the moment, because you right there watching it, and it's more recent, and you getting a chance to see it at this age on a big stage. So hold on, sometimes we just got to lay back, enjoy it, and then we'll talk about these things when it's all said and done.
Why can't we appreciate guys for who and what they are?
Yeah.
And not try to elevate it into something bigger or grander? Because Shaq can have this conversation. He can converse about it all he wants. It's just not going to be a very long, nuanced conversation, because there's just not enough there. I will say this about Steph Curry, one of the most impressive things.
But let me ask you a question, though, Rick, before you move a little. Why is it not there?
Because there are two. First of all, let's just start with there's two ends of the court. All right.
Okay.
If we're going to talk about you as an all-time player, you better be able to get the job done. Better be an impact player at both ends of the floor.
Okay.
And as great as Steph is, and as much as he's changed the way the game is played offensively, and is as incredible and impactful as he can be, it's not so great that it makes up for what he is defensively, where people are going to hunt him. Now, I've always thought that he gives you the most he can there. He's upgraded himself from being a liability to, like, we can get by. You don't win championships if a player is on the floor as much as he is, and he can't do anything for you defensively. But
so if you take that conversation away as, a GOAT or the greatest and all the other stuff, is he in the top 10 of all time? Or are we still waiting on that?
We're waiting on that.
We're still
waiting on that?
I mean, let us correct.
But you can't tell me, Rick, though, you can't tell me everybody that most people have in the top 10
only person
play both ends of the floor.
The only person we could consensus put in GOAT conversation and top 10 and all is LeBron. Let's leave everybody else alone.
Well, wait a minute.
Currently playing.
Oh, gotcha,
He's the only one we can say, okay, we know LeBron is top 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3, right, we can have that. But everybody else, we got to wait till they're done. The KDs, the Jokers, the Lukas,
That's fair.
Let's wait till they're done, because they're going to have they got more to say.
No, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron could end his career 3 years ago
and still be in that conversation.
Because, like, what he's accomplished and what he's done,
but Steph
it's like unimaginable.
But Steph has accomplished a lot.
Like he has accomplished a lot, and he still has a lot to accomplish.
I mean, he doesn't have an MVP Finals.
Yes, he does. He has one.
He just got one. The last one is 2022 versus Boston.
That's the one.
He did get that one. Okay, he finally got that one.
He's got 1 out of 4.
He got the regular season and he got the one. Okay, so he checked that box. He's the greatest shooter. He's checked that box.
He's also another guy.
4 NBA
like
rings, check that box.
He's another guy like LeBron, who his ability to sustain his excellence is impressive, because he didn't start.
How many years is this for him, Steph?
2016? Close, yeah.
He came in 2009, I believe.
I think that's, yes.
But he's still knocking down shots left and right.
Look, people don't care about this aspect of it, but I do, in having spent so much time around guys in the sport. The thing that impresses me maybe the most with Steph, and knew him when he came in as a rookie, is the fact that he's the same guy he was then.
I mean, I don't.
He's had all this amazing success,
Yeah.
and he hasn't changed as a human being. He's still one of the greatest human beings that I've ever met.
Listen, like me personally, I don't mind people saying LeBron is the GOAT. I don't mind people saying that Steph Curry belongs in the GOAT conversation. I mean, I was able to beat Steph Curry in a three-point contest. I
knew he was
was able to outdo him. I was able to outdo LeBron in the playoff series. So if you guys want to say
Steph was in
that,
high school, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, we're going to say this about them.
Steph was in high school.
I mean,
You see that picture?
that says a lot about your boy. If these guys are what y'all saying he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I won this one right here. Steph was in it.
Man,
Look, there we go.
He was in high school.
I don't know. It was an NBA. That's an NBA three-point contest. What we talking about now?
I can't believe
yeah.
you won,
No, that's
Paul.
legit.
And I kept my warm-up on.
You feel good?
Swag on top of it.
feel good?
Hey, I feel good on this
feel
one.
good, huh?
Hey, I'm going to keep this one in my pocket forever.
It's hard, but that's
Yeah,
Money
there we
ball.
go.
You know, that's why
He
Rick,
got to
like
make
you
this one. He
said,
needed this one. Yep, nope, there we go. I got him.
that's why when
Got
you
him.
say, Rick, just enjoy the moments, that's why I always, when
Got
I
him.
get these conversations, I just try to say enjoy.
Yeah. Appreciate for what it
Appreciate
is.
for
not
what it is, 'cause
what it has to be.
You ain't gonna never, you just ain't gonna never win these conversations about who the greatest is and who that. You're gonna have Kobe fans say this, Kareem fans say that, LeBron fans say this, Michaels say this. That's why I just like, man, I enjoyed. I had the pleasure to see all of them play.
You know, the other part is let's not take this all that seriously. Like, people get so bent around the axle about where you stand on a particular player. It's all subjective.
Right.
There is no definitive. There's no way to define exactly what GOAT is.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.